family, welcome to Family Meek. I'm Raymond, and this is going to look like a really dodgy overdub, as the original recording was atrocious, and I'm having to re-record the audio. And today I'm doing an unboxing of Dead Reckoning, so please bear with me. It's going to be really weird if you're looking at my lips on the video. Okay, so we're digging in, and this is by John de Clare. So he has made a name for himself with the card crafting system that's recognised and featured here on the front of the box. So it's very much, as you can see by the front cover, a pirate-based themed board game. Really excited to dig into this, particularly on the back of Edge of Darkness. Very different. So just on the back, you obviously get an idea of the setup. Lots of coins. Coins is how you ultimately win the game. The one with the most loot, of course. So yeah, you get you've got your ship, and you're floating around the seven seas, perhaps. Certainly open oceans, exploring. It's a bit of a kind of 4X: explore, exploit, exterminate, and the other X that I can never remember. So yeah, we're going to dig into this anyway now. Here we go. So we're going to cut into Edge. If I can get the scalpel in between. There we go. So yeah, I kickstarted this one, and it's one of those ones, right, where I kickstarted this, late pledged in fact, for the Core Box. I thought, oh, it looks really interesting, really keen to give it a go, but I'm not sure about it. I certainly don't want to be going all in. And of course it lands, and I watch some more videos, and then it's like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to go all in. The additional boxes, which I now have some of, and I've got the rest of coming, do include things like sagas. So you get like a big expanding storyline that you can play through. It does include a bunch of cards that kind of add I'm trying to think now, my mind's gone. Differentials between you and your other players. You get random decks to help to start you off, and modify your initial starting decks. Asymmetry, that's the word. Okay, so age 14 plus is 1 to 4 players, so it does include a full solo mode, so really keen to get that to the table. In fact, looking to get that to the table this evening, so very excited about that. And it does come with its own solo rulebook, which is great. It's quite thin. I think the opening statement is some of the lines of the main gameplay is basically the same as the main game, so you do have to read the main game in order to understand how to play, but the actual mechanics of the automation is very, very simple. So you get your dock here, and these other squares on the cards represent effectively the layout of the seas that are to be explored. So it's a really, really simple. I've watched a few playthroughs now. And then there's information obviously on how it will conduct battles either with you or merchants that it encounters. And there is a 2-player cooperative variant as well, so you can actually play multiple players and have the automation playing as well. So yeah, really keen to see that. And of course you've got lots of useful references here on the back of the book, which is the main thing. Is it's simplified and streamlined as much as possible. It's all about the iconography with a lot of games nowadays, and certainly this is no exception. But it's all laid out very well in the book, so it makes it nice and easy to play and get your hands on everything you need. And this is where I noticed then on the inside of the box lid is actually a little nice instruction set that tells you, informs you how to put it all back in the box once you're done. It gives you that initial setup for unpacking everything. What I've got after running through the actual unboxing is a sped up punching and reassembling of everything, so you kind of get a quick view of putting everything together and assembling it into the box. And I don't know why, but for some reason when I recorded this originally, I spent far too long going through on this tiny little picture on the inside of the box, going, oh, and this is what this does, and this is how we use this, and this, that, the other. I don't know why I did that. So yeah, we'll just wait for me to rabbit on looking at these tiny pictures and get to the actual unboxing. Here we go. Okay, so we start with the main rulebook. It's really weird. It's like I'm critiquing myself. What am I doing? Okay, so again, this is the updated version of the rules. So again, there was quite a bit of criticism around this, and initial comments, for example, were that the original rulebook didn't include all of the icons that were used and referenced throughout the game. So my understanding is this has been updated as being it is a reprint. So that they were aware of these things and they have addressed these things as part of the reprint, which is always great, right? And we're seeing this more and more, I think, generally in the gaming community, that the publishers, the creators are listening to the feedback, taking it on board and going away and making their games better, which is fantastic. It's what it's all about, folks. Okay. So typical fashion, you get the initial view of the components, and as you can see, there are lots of components. Here we go through the basic setup as if you've got to play a 4-player game. And then we start the main concept of the actual gameplay itself. So you get your ship, so every individual gets their own ship, and you can use your ship to determine how far you move because it's got sails, how much attack you do when you're attacking because it's got cannons. You can upgrade the ship as well as upgrading your actual deck hands as well. This is then talking about when you go out onto the seas, when you're coming out from the harbour into unexplored territory. So just confirm that actually the harbour is one mass of area, and when you come out of that you can go to any area in the first level, the first column of unexplored waters. And he talks then about actually leveling up your cards. So you start off with level, you get 12 cards in your deck. It's very much a deck crafter rather than a deck builder. You will always have 12 cards, and you level up the members of your crew. So you have a captain and deck hands, etc., and you get to level them up as you go. And at the end of every turn you get to level up one of your crew members, which is great. And then also, as you're exploring the seas, there will be advancements that you can sleeve into your cards. So again, that's the card crafting element. So you do get to upgrade your crew and increase their abilities. So if you've got someone, a gunner for example, who might have the ability to use one cannon to start off with, but actually as you get leveling up you can add additional cannons, so he becomes much more adept at using more cannons, which means you're more adept in battles against merchants and against other players. And it's not all about just destroying one another either, so that's great. You know, it does have that variance in what it is you're trying to achieve throughout the game, which is great. Yeah, and then we go into some of the tips and tricks as well, so it gives you some flavour around some of the things that you can focus on as you're playing through the games as your first time player. If you're diving into the rulebook, it is very useful in giving you some of that guidance and sort of strategic guidance as to how it is you might want to consider playing your game, and how sort of these additional card benefits help. And it does have a full advancement reference deck page, so it tells you what you're going to get in level 1 through to 4, and a full index. So at any point, if you're curious, oh, what does that do, you can look it up and it will tell you exactly where to find all those references around the book, which is great. Okay, so what we've then got on the top of the box is the cube tray. So when you are attacking, you will drop cubes that will drop onto this tray, and there are kind of layers in here, so your cubes will sit within these layers on the tray, and they'll determine how much damage you cause when you are attacking other ships. As demonstrated here, you could cause fire on other ships, but it's the crowns ultimately you're trying to do. They determine who the winner of the battle is, but you do also get the opportunity to gain goods as you are battling as well. So you do get to gain gold and barrels of goods you can then trade with merchants, etc. So the main punch boards, of course, as always you'd expect, they come with the coins and the upgrades. So that's what we are seeing here. And yeah, so we've got some variations of the colours. So there's the reverse side of those as well. And these are the ships. So here you can see you can upgrade one of your sort of stats. You'd be able to hold 2 sails. And some of these are storage areas as well. So they determine how many things you can store in that cabin area on your ship as well. So that's really useful. There we go. So, and yeah, where it's got a hammer and a saw, I believe that is an advanced upgrade that you can make to your ships. So you can add a cannon and a sail, and it gives you points worth at the end of the game as well. So your upgrades are worth more. And here you go. Yeah, so this is a cabin area. That means you get 2 cabin things that you can store in your ship upgrade as well. So they are the upgrade cards, and we've got the look of the coins to punch forward. Coins you have, and I can't remember the small white ones are for. I think again there's some kind of an upgrade that you can acquire at some point, and then you've got the various coloured tokens as well. So you've got your blue, green, yellow and pink or purple player colours that you can choose to be, and you'll use those little chits to put out on the scoring mechanism at the end of the harbour. And this is a great big 3D ship that you're going to put together, and this effectively forms your cube tower, your dice tower if you like, that you're going to drop your cubes down into, and then it will fall onto that fallout area that we talked through a moment ago. So yeah, so we'll put that through, and then you've got some more of those player chits, and this is how you record which of your advancements you've scored. So things like encountering 4, here we go, yeah, so we've got these here. So if you explore so many areas, if you gain 30 gold, if you gain 12 barrels, there are so many criteria, a bit like Scythe, and in fact it was specifically attributed to Scythe. John Declare did say explicitly he did attribute this to Scythe, that there are lots of different ways that you can effectively trigger the end game. So the first player to achieve 4 of these achievements will trigger the end game. So you get 3 of your cabin crew upgraded to level 4, 4 advancements on your ship, all these sorts of things, right? So yeah, this is what determines the triggering of the end game, but not necessarily who is the winner of the game. So as I mentioned right at the beginning, it is the gold that ultimately determines who is the winner of the game. Okay, so here we get a better look at the ships. So you can see what the colours on there: yellow, purple, blue and green. And you punch out the little areas at the bottom, that's where your cube sits, and that determines how many sails you can put up. So it determines what your movement capability is on your turn. And you see you start with a cannon in front of the ship and 2 sails and 2 cargo areas, and you can see there are 4 outlined areas, and they are the areas that you can gain upgrades for your ship, and that will get you extra points and extra areas to store. There you go, to store your goods. You start off with those 2 cargo areas, so you can store 4 things at the front, 3 things at the back. And then you've got obviously your sails. So you start off, you can move 2 spaces as you set sail. I think it's your captain also gives you an extra sail as well. So again, your different, I'm going to say heroes, that's not right, your different crew members will give you different benefits as you play them as well. So usually it means sails or cannons, etc. When you set up the board, it's going to be randomized every time, which is great. Like that additional level of variation, which is nice. So you've got a whole bunch of these different islands. It gives you a name for each of the islands, and each island has a different cube value. So you can put out effectively your influence. You've got the flag with a cube icon in, so that is representing your influence on that island, and it's your influence that determines do you actually own the island. And if you own the island, then you can start building these buildings. So you can build forts and outposts, and a trading area. That means it will produce more goods for you when you are there. You can basically get the islands to produce goods for you, so you get more gold from them. And then at the end of the game as well, that's featured up at the top of the right hand corner, that's where you would get your points per island. And then to the left is where there's a slightly outlined cube. There we go. And that is where you're going to be putting advancement cards. So every time you turn over one of these areas, you can put an advancement card there, or a merchant ship. And as you sail out to that area, you'll spend barrels usually to acquire an advancement, which you can then slide into your crew card. And then there are some areas that don't have islands, but what they do is they're open sea, but they can improve adjacent islands in terms of their production. And also, particularly when playing solo, and there will be times where the solo player will try and put cubes out, and obviously if it's open sea and there isn't an island there, then he's scuppered and doesn't get to put those cubes out. But you can see here, so we've got some of these areas there where we've got lots of cube spaces. If you own more cubes than there are spaces remaining, then you take possession of that island, and you get to put a permanent cube on the island as well to indicate that you have achieved that ownership status. For lack of a better phrase, I don't know what the actual phrase is. Here we go. So we have these little chests, one for each of the players. They've all got their own colours on. Now, I did see a comment about this, with the lid does tuck in on the inside, and I think I did see some comments online about there's potentially a level of wear and tear on here because of that decision on the manufacturing process, but hey, that's what it is. I mean, they're nice and certainly very, very sturdy. So I don't think you're going to wear out in a hurry. I think you'd have to give it some good amount of gameplay to experience that. But for those like myself with a 3D printer, that is always obviously an option as well to 3D print alternatives. We've got, as it comes, 4 empty boxes. So these are the boxes levels 1, 2, 3 and 4 that you're going to situate next to the island columns. So as you set up the game, you're going to put the 4 columns of unexplored waters, and as you venture out further from the harbour, that is what's going to determine whether you're discovering level 1 advancement cards, level 2, 3 or 4 advancement cards. And obviously the further you explore out, the more dangerous the waters become in terms of the merchants that you're going to come across, and likewise the more powerful the advancements you're going to be able to accrue. But at the same time, the more it's going to cost you in terms of barrels to acquire those advancements. And here we have the so these cards, I believe, are the actual player cards. So they just come bound in these slide-on plastics. Does cover just an empty shield over the top and the bottom to protect the actual cards themselves. And then you can see you get 12 blue, green, purple and yellow, one for each of the players. So everyone has the same starting crew. You actually get your captain, your deckhand, etc. Your gunners. So everyone starts the same. And then, like I said, the first expansion they released was Sea Dogs, is what they're called. And that adds a level of asymmetrical. So as you start off the game, you'll start by drawing, I think it's 4 of these Sea Dogs. And they give you an instant, potentially an instant power up. What it does is it gives you the asymmetry, but often it will be when you level up this particular crew member to level 4, it now gains this specific ability, which is if it was a gunner, you gain extra guns or whatever. So yeah, so you may not necessarily gain the benefit straight away, but you will gain the benefit long term, and it's quite nice because it actually gives you something to aim for. I think one of the big dichotomies of this game will of course be analysis paralysis. When you're sat there and you've got so many options of so much you can do, it's a continual question of, oh, well, I could do this and I could do this, I could do this, what do I want, what's the best for me to do? So having that asymmetry, particularly having those four almost kind of starting out boosted crew members, really helps to give it a bit more direction. Now these are like poker chips, and they represent you going into pirate mode. Now originally the game came with some additional punch out pieces of cardboard that you would slip into the ship, and I think again there was lots of feedback that it didn't fit very well, and they'd be dropping out all over the place and it would just be a bit messy. So they give these chips instead you can put on your ship to represent the fact that you are now in pirate mode. And each player gets one of these player boards, so that again it's great because it shows you all the different crew members and all of what they get as they level up from level 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here at the top you've got the captain, so he starts off with 1 sail, and then at level 2 he gains the pirate flag and the steering, etc. So here you can see at the top I can't remember the name of the character, but he goes out and obviously cultivates the islands. Yep. So this is the number of cubes, the influence that your pirate ship has over that island. So the more cubes you're putting out, the more you're going to take possession of that island and have them working on your behalf and for you. So in addition to those, you get some nice little storage boxes. So that was the box for the coins. You get a nice solid little box for the barrels of goods, which I presume is rum. What else would you trade for in Pirate Days? I don't know. Here is where you'll keep the black cubes, which are for the merchant ships when they're attacking. You keep the buildings you can build and the flame tokens. So when your ship takes damage, you put those flame tokens on. The ship can take up to 5 points of damage, I believe, before it is sunk. But even when it's sunk, it's not game over. I think we kind of respawn back at the harbour. I haven't actually looked into the rules of that yet, and I haven't seen it happen, so I don't know exactly what happens there, but my understanding is you're never out of the game, right? So we've got nice player reference cards, again very, very useful, and certainly replayed the Edge of Darkness again the other night with 4 guys, and yeah, fantastic fun. And those reference cards really come into their own, just make the game so much easier. Here we get the crew cards then, so this is what you'll sleeve up into your crew. So these are the solid back cards that go at the back of your crew member cards. And you can see here, so this is level 1 of the captain, and it showed you there what you get at level 2. This is level 2 of the captain, it shows you there what you'll get at level 3 with that battle ability. So yeah, so it's really, really well designed, very well thought through in terms of being able to attain the information that you require as simple and easy as possible, which is great, right? You don't want to have to be continually referencing back to the rulebook and, oh, what does this do, what does this mean, I've got this icon, what is that? And in fact I've got another game that I'm due to unbox, and that is very, very much that. It is ridiculously heavy on iconography and then trying to find what the heck everything means in the rulebook. This, thankfully, is not that case at all. Although it does, interestingly, have a similar dichotomy in that you've got a fantastic index with the words of everything you need, but when you look at an icon and you don't know what that word is that's associated with that icon, I'm not convinced that's going to help you. But again, those reference cards really do come into their own and help you to confirm this icon is this word, and it may as well give you that brief as to what it does, which is great. Not quite sure what I'm doing off screen there. I think I'm going to be, there we go. So this is the solo cards. So this is the red bordered solo cards. This is the more difficult. And you can see you've got rounds 1 to 3, rounds 4 to 6, rounds 7 to 9, etc. So the more you go on in the game, the more the solo player is doing. And this is the blue border, so this is the standard mode of play, or the regular mode of play. Easy, perhaps, maybe not. My understanding is it is very, very well balanced. And you can mix and match, right? So you can change up the level of difficulty by saying, randomly having maybe 4 or half of the deck being these difficult cards versus all the rest being regular cards, etc. So you can choose levels of difficulty to play it against. I just noticed I was watching Paul Grogan play through the solo gameplay, and yeah, I mean, he was commenting for himself. He'd just done one playthrough that afternoon and we're recording the one in the evening, and he was saying, yeah, he had no inclination to put it onto any more difficult layer than the basic starting cards. Yeah, that will definitely be my intent this evening as I play through solo as well. Okay, so here we have then all of the advancement cards that we're going to put out into the boxes that we saw earlier, labelled 1 through to 4. The colours are also numbered, so you have 1 through to 4, and then at the back there, the way that they've been printed and shipped is the merchant ships. They will all be shuffled up together and mixed in. And in the meantime, you've got a nice little storage box to whack everything. So I'll just put it all back in there for now. I'm just showing you there one of the level 1 advancement cards. It just gives you an extra cannon when you go into battle. And you see it's got that 1 dash at the top. So it's a level 1 card. And the nice thing as well, it shows you actually there on the right hand side, there's the little black icon that shows you, where is it going to sit in your card? So in slot 1, 2 or 3, so each card potentially has up to 3 slots that you can put advancements into, and again, it just makes it a bit easier when you see them out in the sea to know where that would fit. Excuse me, having to have a drink. It is incredibly warm, so just over 30 degrees in my office. Oh, as the sun is starting to disappear now at 9 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. But unfortunately my office gets absolutely sun drenched and baked come half past 4, 5 o'clock in the evening. The sun is absolutely full belt on my office and the temperature skyrockets until the sun buggers off at 9 o'clock in the evening, and I get a chance to breathe again, which is nice. And eventually, when the sun's completely gone around the corner, I can open the door and get some fresh air back in. But right now I can't do that, so I'm a bit parched. Apologies. Okay, so as we're unboxing, we've obviously got some contents that come in this great big box. This is where we will be storing our ship. Once it is assembled, you don't have to keep putting the ship apart and reassembling it every turn. So I do like this idea that once you've made this ship, it is in there and it's there for good. The oddity is the same wasn't applied to the board that the cubes roll out of the ship onto. So it's got little edges to prevent the cubes rolling off. And there's a bit of a weirdness in, but there you go, that's what it is, right? So yeah, so you get an assembly guide, and like I say, I'll do a speed run through after this, show you how to assemble. So we've got our nifty little pirate ships, so one for each of the players' colours. I will no doubt paint these up, but yeah, they're quite nice. They're quite a good level of detail on there. And yeah, I'll probably just leave the sails to be the appropriate colours, and then paint the ships up, paint the water, etc. That'll look nice out on the board, but they look fantastic as it is. Like I say, good level of detail. And yeah, that's where you would originally put that piece of cardboard. And I think the updated notion now is you put it on your ship board rather than. Although you could as easily just, you see there's space there certainly to put that pirate chit. But I haven't tried it, so we'll see. I'll give it a go. So what else do we get then? We get a ridiculous amount of cubes. So cubes are your primary resource. Obviously green doesn't show up at all, and yellow struggles as well. But yeah, so you get all those, and again you get the black cubes that are used by the solo player and also by the merchants. So when you come up against the merchants, that's what we're going to be using to fight those off. You get a really nice set of wooden barrels in the core box. So I know that they did sell upgraded barrels and crates, so you get these lighter ones, you get more of those than the darker ones. So however you want to break that down, whether it's you know, 1 for the lighter ones and maybe 5 for the darker ones. But yeah, really nice, nicely crafted. Yeah, no issues at all. Those components very, very nice. Yeah, no need to upgrade those at all. You know, it's not just punch board chids. So yeah, really like that. And then this other baggie here that I'm now opening has, there we go, all the buildings. Yeah, so you got slightly different shaped buildings that are representative of. You've got your fort. I think there's something like a fort and an outpost and a trading post, something like that. Again, forgive me, I need to go back to the rules, haven't actually played it yet. But yeah, so you get those different buildings that you can build once you own the island and they are yours. And they can give your island defense, they can be more proactive in the attack as other ships float by your island. I believe that doesn't apply in solo mode. And of course, the merchants trading post can produce goods and gold for you as well, presumably harvesting fish from the sea and selling those on. And here we have our fire tokens, and again, obviously the yellow not showing up particularly well on the green screens. Apologies for that. But yeah, nice solid wooden components, no issues or qualms at all. Very happy with those. And of course, this is a sleeving game, so you do get a set of sleeves. And yeah, I quite like these actually. They're not transparent all the way around, so there's no requirement to see what's on the back of the cards throughout the game. So you know, you're shuffling cards up and they are you know, face down. You've got no idea what's coming next, which is great. That works well. So you got a nice little picture of your ship at the top and money at the bottom, because that's what it's all about, people. It's all about the money. So yeah, and you do, of course, in typical fashion with John Declare, you do get a number of spare sleeves as well. So should you find that they split over time, which they could do, but not experienced it yet myself to date with the games that I have thus far, which is this one and Edge of Darkness. Yeah, and yeah, these are great, nice, good number of card sleeves, and these will apply to. You can use these with the solo cards, and you would use these for all of the player cards as well. Obviously, advancements, whilst they're sat in those boxes labeled 1 to 4, you don't. They don't come. You don't sleeve those. They get sleeved as you choose them, and likewise the merchants as well. So with the merchants, many of them, they will have advancements on the back, so you'll get to flip them over if you decide to take them on and fight them. Otherwise, you can of course choose to engage them in sales and basically buy them with barrels, and they give you different perks and benefits. So again, there's another level of variation there, which is great. So yeah, here I'm just, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm probably just bantering on about my excitement in looking forward to play the game. My disappointment that I just backed the core box and now it's going to cost me an absolute bloody arm and a leg to get the rest of the gaming components, because I am actually genuinely very excited to get this to the table and dig full in. And I can see this very much for me being something like Zaya. Zaya, when I first got that, I played about 25 games back to back. It was phenomenal fun, good level of variation. And yeah, I can see this being very, very much the same, and looking forward to getting those sagas out, as well as the dogs, the sea dogs, to add that asymmetry. And yeah, lots of additional goodness, and yeah, really excited to get this to the table. And like I said, we'll be doing that this evening. So yeah, looking forward to playing my first solo game and get my head around the actual gameplay itself. Although I've watched a few playthroughs now, so feeling very confident at Au Fait. It actually seems a really simple game, just lots of choice, right? And that's a great combination, I think. So now we're going to go into the speed, putting everything together, and I'm going to dip out of my commentary here and leave you with this, and I'll put a timestamp below. And yeah, otherwise, just to say, as always, folks, thanks for watching. If you've watched up until now with my weird overlay and criticism of myself, thank you. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button. If you want to encourage me to keep making this stuff, please do hit subscribe, as it's just popped up on the screen there. It really does encourage me to keep making this content. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll leave you some music and this speed, putting everything together, and I'll see you on the flip side. Ta-ta for now.